Hello, friends. Welcome back to Sincerely Self Podcast. Welcome if you're new. I am recording this once again the day before it's supposed to be uploaded, and the topic that we're talking about today is how to be the best version of yourself in 2026. I did an episode like this in 2024 as well, and I think I may have even done it in 2023. So this is the last episode of the year, and I can tell you the first thing that I'm going to work on in this next year is getting solo episodes recorded at least a couple days before they're supposed to come out. I'm also recording this the day after Christmas, but what can you do? Speaking of Christmas, I'm really excited because my amazing family got me some new things for the podcast. So we actually have a completely new setup, but I still need to finish setting it up. So for now, I'm using a new ring light and one of my trusty microphones. But stay tuned for the next solo episode so that you guys can see I got a new camera, new microphones, literally brand new setup. So I'm so excited for you guys to see it. I'm also back in the corner of my living room. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, then you may have seen this corner before, but hopefully this time it's much better quality microphone. Something kind of funny is I used to use these little tiny mics for most of the podcast. I have used these tiny mics and I got a new phone and I can't use them with my new phone. They don't plug into my new phone. I'd have to get like an adapter. So I'm forced to elevate the microphone game, but that's okay. Honestly, that's a lot better, right? I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas. I was going to do an episode on managing grief through the holidays, but I should have done it a couple weeks ago. Like, I was going to do it for this week, but it doesn't really make sense for me to do it this week because the holidays are pretty much over. So I just want to say, if you are struggling with the loss of a loved one this holiday season, I see you and you're valid in how you're feeling. I think a lot of the time, the longer you've been without someone or the longer that they've been gone, people expect you to just be okay. And I think the holidays are something that trigger that for everyone. And I just want to let you know, if you're feeling that way, you're valid in how you're feeling, and it's okay to still have those feelings feel fresh around the holiday season because it is such a almost triggering event, right? And so if you guys would like me to do an episode on managing grief through the holidays, I 1000% will do that. But this episode, we haven't done a nice little self-care motivating episode in a minute. So without further ado, let's jump right into this episode. So the first thing that I want to say, I don't have my planner with me, but a planner is life-changing to have throughout your year. For me personally, writing things down helps get it out of my mind and it helps make me less stressed. In the last few months of 2025, I was not using my planner. Literally, I have a planner hanging up above my desk that I use when I'm recording with guests, and it's still in October. I have not used it in a minute. I have a writing planner as well. Haven't used it probably since October as well. But I notice a difference when I'm using a planner and when I'm not. It gives you the opportunity to manage your schedule. It gives you also the opportunity to plan out your month. Like, I love using monthly planners where I can write in everything that I need to do, as well as writing the goals of the things that I want to accomplish this month. If you follow the Instagram, go follow the Instagram. If you don't, if you do follow the Instagram, I have posted a few times about how I have a wallpaper that I use and I change. I have been doing good with that. I change it every month for whatever month it is. I have long-term goals. I have short-term goals that are fitting into that month. And for the long-term goals, I like to see which ones I'm able to cross off. And for this month, I have been able to cross off things off my list. And it feels fulfilling. It feels rewarding. And I feel like we get caught in a mindset of go, go, go and rush, rush, rush. And we forget to celebrate little goals that we've accomplished. It's so easy to compare your progress to somebody else's. Sometimes we may even feel jealousy towards the people closest to us in our life because they may be progressing faster than what we feel like we are. But I just want to remind you guys that everything falls into God's timing. And I'm actually going to go grab my notebook so that I can show you guys. Okay, you guys, I went and I grabbed my notebook. I also grabbed my planner. So before I get into the story on my notebook, my lovely fiance got me a planner. This is my planner for 2026. And I'm really, really, really going to try and stick to it for the whole year this year so that I just feel so much more motivated when I know what I'm accomplishing, when I know what I'm doing. And I have it all written out for me to see. Because for me personally, I have 3 jobs, including the podcast at the moment. And I get caught in the flow of my day that I forget other things that I want to do. I forget things that I like and things that I enjoy. And so for me, 2026, I'm really, really going to try to incorporate that more into my life, into my day, and having a planner helps because you know exactly, okay, well, I could do it this day, I can do it this afternoon. And yeah, so a lovely, amazing planner. This one is just from Amazon, I believe, but I have some amazing ones I've found at TJ Maxx as well. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy, but it really is life-changing. So the story that I was going to tell you guys, I have had this planner that one of my best friends, Lexi, got me. You guys have seen Lexi on the podcast. Actually, for the Spotify Wrapped for the podcast, my episode with Lexi was one of my top episodes. I think it was the top played one. And so we got to have Lexi on again very soon. But she gave me this notebook for my birthday, which was in February. And I've used it as a planner for guests specifically, or planning out the uploading schedule for the podcast. I've had it be like my podcasting planner, kind of. It's just a normal journal, but I'll write out, notes and questions to help me get through the guest episodes. And so I have been on my journey with God lately. You guys know that. I've actually been mentioning it in every podcast simply because it is every aspect of my life now. I can't help it. So when I bring up God in podcasts, I'm not doing it in any way to force anything on you guys. It's literally just my relationship with God has been taking over almost, not in a negative way, but it's been embezzling in every aspect of my life. And so I feel like I need to share that with you guys because I think a lot of people hold resentment towards God because of religion, because of a religious experience they've had. And I want to tell you, I was the exact same. I was raised in the Mormon church my whole life. I left the church when I was 18, and then I did not have a relationship with God. And again, until now, I'm 23. So, and I had to find that again on my own. And God met me where I was. When I tell you I was not searching for a relationship with God, it just happened. And God is not religion. God is not a church. If you have found a place where you have a relationship with God, that is so amazing for you. A church where you're able to feel the Spirit. I am so ecstatic for you. But I want to let you know, if you have had negative experiences in a church and you associate that with God, that's not God. God, genuinely, Jesus Christ, I really feel would be flipping tables over most of the things happening in religion nowadays. And a lot of the limiting beliefs that some people do have, and they associate it with religion. God is not religion. Religion is a man-made belief, and it is a really good outlet to gain a relationship with God, but God is so much more than that. And if you are somebody who maybe has religious trauma and you're thinking, I do want to have a relationship with God, but it's just hard, I really do associate it with my past. I've been watching the show The Chosen. I watch it on Amazon Prime. This is not sponsored. I just really love this show. And me and my fiance literally have been watching it almost every day for 2 weeks. We're already on season 3. And it has really given me such a visual of who Jesus Christ was and what he stood for. And the show just kind of goes through Jesus Christ started ministering at the age of 30, and it just kind of brings you through the journey until when he's crucified. And so you really see how he reacts to religion and how he reacts to the Pharisees and to the leaders of the religion at the time, and how he does not agree with them. And most of the things that he is saying goes against what they are teaching. And people didn't like that in the church. They rejected the Son of God. And so I just feel like if you are struggling with God, you should watch that, because you will get a new perspective of who God is. I think God gets limited a lot with religion, and that's not who he is. He's so much bigger than that. He's so much more understanding than that. And his love is unconditional in a way that is unexplainable if you've only seen it in a religious standpoint. And once again, I'm not saying religion is a bad thing, but I'm saying religion is not all that God is, and it's not the only outlet to find God. You could pray to God in your car and feel the Spirit. You could pray to God at your job and feel the Spirit. You could pray to God in prison and feel the Spirit, and God will find you exactly where you're at. So that being said, a common thing that Jesus says a lot in the show, The Chosen, is he says, if not now, when? And I believe that it's said multiple times in the Bible. I cannot quote it off the top of my head where it is said in scripture, but in the show, Jesus says multiple times, if not now, when? If not now, when? And last night, I was putting together the new podcasting area, putting together all the new equipment, and I have been creating limiting beliefs in my head regarding the podcast, regarding the things that I want to pursue in life, and creating limiting beliefs for myself that I'm not able to achieve it, maybe that I'm not worthy of it, maybe that I'm not worthy of helping other people. And I've had this journal for a long time before I started forming my relationship with God. And I had moved everything off my desk, and I pick up this journal, and it says, if not now, then when? If not now, then when? I've had this journal forever, not forever, but for a long time before I've started watching that show. And for me, that's just such a sign from God, you know? If not now, then when? If you're not going to push past your limiting beliefs and stop holding yourself in a box, you know? Sometimes we see other people doing it to us, and, you know, we get the advice of setting up some boundaries with them. I think the most common way that we get put in a box is by ourselves. We create these limiting beliefs that maybe we're not capable. And to that, if not now, then when? If you're not going to face that fear now, then when are you going to? If you're not going to stop holding yourself back now, then when are you going to? Tomorrow is not promised, but what is promised is today, is what we're living exactly right now. And so I think the biggest advice that I can give to you on how to have a better next year and really grow into the person that you want to be, into the version of yourself that you want to be, is having the mindset, if not now, then when? If I'm not going to pursue this now, when am I going to do it? If you're waiting until you're ready, you're never going to be ready. You're never going to be feeling like you're ready enough to pursue something. Now is the time. If you are thinking about it and feeling drawn towards it, then now is your time. You will never feel ready enough. And if that's what you're waiting for, you will never get there. And so the first step, I feel, into becoming the best version of yourself is to break down these limiting beliefs that you have created for yourself. Or maybe you've had other people tell you things growing up or throughout your life, and you've let that become your own subconscious thoughts, which, when I tell you this, I'm not blaming you. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm telling you this out of love, because I think it's something that's really common. And we don't even realize that a lot of the limiting beliefs we have may have even came from things that other people say. And to that, you can't let somebody who doesn't know your whole story define how you feel about yourself. You can't let somebody who hasn't walked in your shoes and lived your life define how you feel about yourself, in the same sense as we can't do that to somebody else. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself. And once you kind of realize, okay, this isn't a thought that I want to think. This isn't a me that I want to know. You can start to release them, and 1, 2, 3, release them. And by that, I mean catching yourself in the moment, thinking a thought. Let's say maybe you're thinking the thought of, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. I want to pursue this career. I want to start this business, but I'm not rich enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not ready enough. Catching yourself in that moment and saying, who told you that? Who told you that? And it is your own mind that is telling you those things. Maybe you have had other people tell you those things. I'm going to give you guys an example. Back in April, I was pretty down bad. I had been on a job hunt for a few months now. The podcast, I was not making money from the podcast at the time. And I mentally was struggling a lot. And I was at my job that didn't pay me very much. And I was living at home, and I had a family member send me like a very mean text. And in the text, they had said, you and your stupid little podcast, like, go get a real job. And I let it affect me. I let it affect how I viewed my podcast. I let it affect how I viewed myself, my self-worth, what I've been working for a little. And then I realized, why am I going to let something somebody else said define how I feel about something I'm working for and something that I've seen progress from? And as soon as I let those beliefs go, you guys, that's when the podcast first hit 100,000 streams. And now we're at 800,000 streams. And now I do make money from the podcast. And there's just so many things that changed in my reality once I was able to release the care of what somebody else thought. And if you feel drawn towards something, I can't emphasize enough that it's something that you need to be doing. It's something that God has given you a talent for. And I keep using the podcast as an example because, you guys, this was the scariest thing that I had ever pursued. I didn't know anyone who was doing anything like this. I know it's viewed as cringy, and I am from a town that everyone knows everyone's business, and it was a very, very scary thing for me to pursue it and to be so open and be so vulnerable, but it has also been the most rewarding thing. And when I get messages from you guys, or I see comments or DMs from you guys that I've helped you, or that what I've said has helped you, that, you know, God has been able to work through me to help somebody else, I know that that is the reason that I felt drawn towards this. And I know that is the reason that I felt called to do this. And yeah, so the first step really is releasing those limiting beliefs to believe that you're able to, and your reality will change. So now you've got your planner, now you're releasing your limiting beliefs. The next thing that I want you to do is to get another journal, or even just a notes page on your phone, and write down every month your monthly goals, kind of what I was saying with the wallpaper. Once again, if you don't, go follow the Instagram so that you can see what mine looks like. I can also share a link on my stories so you guys can go and use the exact same format as mine. It's just from Canva. But writing down long-term goals and short-term goals, because the short-term goals that you accomplish, the monthly goals, even weekly goals that you accomplish, even daily goals, they really motivate you and help keep you going towards your long-term goals. Because I think if we only have long-term goals, we never feel like we're accomplishing anything. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. Having these short-term goals of, oh, I'm going to wake up early today, or, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times this week, or I'm going to spend this much time with my family, or I'm going to read this much, or I'm going to listen to this podcast episode, or I'm going to dedicate this amount of time to my self-care. These little goals that may seem really minute in the moment are the motivators that keep you going towards the long-term goals. Being able to check those off your list, you guys, you feel so accomplished. And for me, that has been such a motivating force when I have those low moments, because no matter what, you will have a low moment again. Even no matter how many times you push through your limiting beliefs, or how much you think you've grown, or how much you think you've worked on your self-esteem, you will have limiting beliefs again. And you will have moments that feel like the lowest lows, but the growth that you've had and the working on yourself that you've had and the self-care that you've had help you get out of those moments faster, help you catch those thoughts so much quicker, and they aren't as debilitating. So I've seen people say, why do people talk about self-care and, working on your self-esteem, because bad things will happen again. It helps you out of the rut so that you don't feel so stuck. It doesn't feel like you're stuck in a hole anymore and you can't climb out. You're able to be that ladder for yourself to help you get out of that tunnel. And so self-care isn't an all-time fix. Self-development isn't an all-time fix, but it's an all-time process. And really the best mindset you can have, especially going into this next year, is viewing the world as your teacher. This is something I talked on, I believe, in my episode with Bill Goodwin, viewing the world as your teacher and you as a student. You've never learned enough. You can always learn something from someone or some experience, something. Everything is there to teach you something new. Everything is there to help you grow into a new version of yourself. And this next year, becoming a better version of yourself. I've been saying the best version of yourself, but it's really just becoming a better version of yourself, because you never want to limit yourself and be like, oh, I can't grow anymore. I'm the best that I'm going to be, because that's putting yourself in a box. Once again, try and become better every year and view yourself as a teacher every year, and that you always have something to learn and something to grow with, because when you feel like you've accomplished it all, then there's no more growing to do. There's nothing else to accomplish. There's nothing else to work towards. And you miss out on a lot of opportunities when you feel like you've learned it all. And this is especially important if maybe you're a boss, or maybe you're a coach or a leader in some sort. Having the mindset of being a teacher to those that maybe you even lead, and having the mindset that they can teach you something new, will be exponential in your business and exponential in the growth of your business. The next thing and the last thing that I do want to emphasize in becoming a better version of yourself this next year is giving yourself grace. We're all human. You're going to have moments where you backpedal. You're going to have moments maybe you're trying to get over an addiction that you go back to it. You're going to have moments where you fall out of your routine, maybe where you forget to do your planner for a few months. You are human, and it's okay. You're trying your best, and I can't emphasize that enough. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of it, when you're working on self-growth and self-esteem, you hold yourself to such a high standard that if you slip up even a little bit, you get so angry with yourself and feel like you failed, and that can be the farthest thing from the truth. Everyone is human, and everyone's going to have little moments like that, so just visit them with grace and know, you know what, I'm still learning. I'm still growing, and this doesn't mean that all the work that I've done and all the things that I've done to improve myself are not worth it and aren't working. Okay, you guys, I'm going to end the episode here. The last episode of Sincerely Self for 2025. I'm really, really excited to see what this next year brings for us. And I have some amazing goals and amazing plans set into motion for the podcast. I'm not going to share them yet because I don't like sharing things until they're accomplished. But I'm excited for you guys to see the things that we're going to be accomplishing this year. Big shout out to my network, Radcast. They have been so helpful in the growth of the podcast this last year. We have tripled our streams this last year, just since August. And that really brings me back to like the beginning of this year. I was struggling a lot. And if I would have kept myself in that spot and stayed comfortable, I really don't believe that we would be where we are. I don't believe that the podcast would be where it is right now. And so I just want to tell you, you're doing an amazing job, and to not let the limiting beliefs hold you back, because you never know what could happen the next month. You never know what could happen halfway through 2026. Your whole life could change. and view every day like that. I don't know what could happen tomorrow with a positive mindset. Tomorrow, my whole life could change for the better. What am I going to do today? Next week, my whole life could change for the better. What am I going to do today? I love you guys. Reminder, if you don't follow the TikTok, go and follow the TikTok. It's linked in the description of the episode. Or if you want to look it up, it's Sincerely Self Podcast. Also go and follow the Instagram. Once again, linked in the description. But if you want to go look it up, it's just Sincerely Self Podcast. I post episode clips. I post quotes. I post really anything you can think of. So if you don't follow it, that's really the best way to keep up with the guests, the episodes, and all the things. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Also, the website, if you guys have never looked at the website, I worked really hard on making this Sincerely Self website, and I did make it all by myself. So make sure you go check it out. I link the 3 latest guests with a direct link to the episode, also a description of what is in the episode, so you guys can go and check that out. I also have my story of what happened for me right before I started the podcast, and so you can go and see that as well. And if you want to be a guest on the podcast, or you know someone that you feel like would be able to share an amazing story, I have an inquiry form on the website as well, so that they can submit their email and what they do and all the things, so that I can reach out to them and get it scheduled if it is a good fit. So I love you guys. I wish so many blessings and so much abundance to you in this upcoming year, and I will see you next year.